Lieutenant Iverson found the day unusually hot, and after climbing some distance he took off his jacket and his puttees, placing his automatic pistol in his right-hand breeches pocket. This action was to prove fateful for Maguire's judgment and O'Brien's life. On reaching the summit, Iverson's group were unable to locate Lieutenant Smith's patrol.
Smith's patrol had sighted 2 men and chased and captured them, one in possession of a shotgun. The 2 men, Patrick King and Philip Hallinan, were spotted asleep near Glenmask. They were surprised, and their story of being out hunting foxes who were attacking their sheep was not believed. They were subjected to tough treatment, though they were later acquitted. The column men came under heavy and accurate fire. It was a fine May day with sunset at 10:30, so if they could hold out until then, the men felt the chances of escaping in the dark were good.
Undaunted, Iverson continued on, spotting 4 men carrying weapons, and opened fire. The 4 men vanished and then reappeared scampering across another gully, where Iverson could see a large number of men in flight. Maguire was in a controlling position, apart from the group, and Iverson picked him out. The flying column changed direction, and Iverson realised the men would escape unless they were forced back in the direction of the British Lewis guns. Iverson considered the matter urgent, and he ran about a mile to reach a point where he was able to overlook the flying column. From this superior position, Iverson fired 3 or 4 rounds at Maguire, who fell on the slope facing Iverson. Tom Maguire later said he was hit by a bullet from a Lewis gun, and he knew the bone was broken and that he was losing blood. Michael O'Brien crawled to his assistance to apply a tourniquet and bandages. O'Brien knelt beside him and tried to staunch the blood by pressing on arteries and by binding the arm tightly. As O'Brien crouched beside Maguire, his back was towards the enemy rifle fire. Iverson fired 1 round at him before taking cover and signalling to his troops to cease fire. Seeing no movement from the column and fearing they might be withdrawing, Iverson moved to a viewpoint where he saw about a dozen men in a saucer of ground. Iverson observed a man attending the wounded Maguire, and then he decided to bluff the flying column into surrender, jumping forward and shouting, "Come on, my boarders! Hands up! Surrender!" Suddenly Maguire, on his back, became aware of a tall man in shirt sleeves carrying a rifle. By his build, Maguire took him to be Costello in shirt sleeves, an ex-soldier from Tourmakeady, come to help the column. When Maguire realised it was not Costello, it was too late. Behind the tall figure, he now noticed 8 khaki soldiers with rifles, who had rushed forward from behind a low ridge of ground. "Look out, lads! Look out, lads!" Maguire shouted. "Hands up, boys!" called out the tall man as he brought up his rifle towards his shoulder. O'Brien heard Maguire's cry as he was trying to stop the blood. He grabbed his rifle and he turned towards Iverson. There was a sharp rifle crack, and O'Brien slumped heavily across Maguire's legs. O'Brien lay where he had fallen. He was dead. Shotgun men beside Maguire used their weapons as the British soldiers ran back. Iverson was shot through both arms and in the chest, but he turned and he set off down the hillside. After about 20 yards, a bullet struck his left thigh, causing him to trip and fall. He scrambled up and got clear and ran zigzag down the hillside to where he thought he had seen Craig's lorry on the Shrat Road. He turned left in the lane to make for it, but found himself near to collapse.